Prime Big Deal Days is coming October 8th and 9th. Woohoo! Which can lead to involuntary deal squeals, like the infamous deal on a new massager squeal. Yeah! Save big on Prime Big Deal Days, October 8th and 9th.
Elevate your game in the all-new Hyundai Santa Fe, the capable SUV that features premium interiors with available captain's chairs, available dual wireless device charging, and bold new technology, all with plenty of room for your cargo and crew. Okay, Hyundai. Visit HyundaiUSA.com to learn more about the all-new 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, distribute it everywhere, and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit your podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take conversations with your fans to the next level, Q&As and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Ever since I discovered Spotify for Podcasters, I feel so supported in the creation and distribution of my show. Spotify for Podcasters hosts masterclasses, office hours, and more to help creators develop and fine-tune their skills. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. No matter how much pressure those outside factors are putting on you, you have the opportunity to not add additional pressure. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to or back to the show. Happy Monday, or whatever day it is when you guys are listening to this. It is no secret that this time of year is incredibly hectic, and I know I'm feeling it. My friends are feeling it. People at work are feeling it. It is the most wonderful time of the year, no doubt about it, but it is quite overwhelming. And I woke up this morning feeling like I had so many things on my to-do list, so many things on my checklist. I just had this sense of, how the actual heck am I going to get this all done? I would definitely say that I'm the type of person that easily gets overwhelmed. I've been reading into the concept of being a highly sensitive person. Being a highly sensitive person isn't a bad thing, but it definitely means that you are, for lack of a better word, sensitive to energies around you, potential stressors, feelings of being overwhelmed. But there's also lots of pluses to being a highly sensitive person, and that's a whole different type of episode. My whole life, I've been definitely more prone to being high stress, and I've kind of found little things that I can do to help calm myself down. And that is what this episode is going to be, just like a couple simple, seemingly obvious things that you can do when you wake up completely overwhelmed. So that is what we're going to talk about in today's episode. But before we dive into today's topic, if you're new here, hey, what's up? My name's Lily. It is super nice to meet you. Thank you so much for clicking on today's episode. If you are not subscribed, you totally should subscribe or follow the show, because December is going to be a crazy month because of what I'm doing in December, which you guys will find out probably next Monday or maybe the Thursday after that, I'm not sure. Hence why I'm feeling overwhelmed, because I don't have my shit together. I'm doing something kind of wild in December, and you guys are going to be really happy about it, so stay tuned. But if you're in the 80/20 group chat, you already know what this thing is. If you want to find out what this thing is, you should join the 80/20 group chat. So you can click the link in the show notes that says connect with other 80/20 listeners, and that takes you to an app called Geneva, and that is where our group chat is housed. We talk about all kinds of different things, and it's tons of fun. So hope to see you in there. If you guys are not already following me on Instagram, you should totally go do that too. You can follow me at Lily Rayco and the podcast Instagram at 8020pod. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to leave a 5-star rate and review, and that just helps more people find and listen to the show. Something that I like to tell myself is that feeling overwhelmed is just a feeling. It's not necessarily a state of being. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you are overwhelmed, you won't feel overwhelmed forever. And when I start to feel overwhelmed, stressed out, like I have too much on my plate, it's best to not let that feeling spiral out of control. Let me kind of paint this picture for you guys. This is how it went for me this morning. On the off chance you let yourself sleep in, I think I slept in until like 8 today. Crazy, right? It's a Sunday. So woke up at like 8. I laid in my bed for a little bit and then I got up and made a cup of coffee and I just had like a nice little morning. And then all of a sudden it was like 9:30 and I'm like, oh shit, I have to do this today. I have to do that today. I have to do the podcast. I need to do this and that. I need to make these plans. I need to go run these errands. And I need to make sure that I have X, Y, and Z all lined up for Thanksgiving at the end of the week. And I'm gonna be out of town. And so I started to kind of get into this headspace of feeling like all of these to-do list items were just like spinning around me like a little tornado, and I had absolutely no control. So the first thing I do when I start to feel this way is slow down. Take a pause, take a couple deep breaths. It's crazy to tell someone to calm down when they're feeling worked up, but before you can come to like some rational decision making, you have to calm down a little bit. So for me, I will physically just stop, pause, whatever I'm doing, take a couple deep breaths, hold your breath, count to 10, 4x4, whatever breath you like to take when you're feeling stressed. And then I like to grab a pad of paper. And any thought that comes into my mind of something that I have to do that day or something that I have to do that week, whatever is factoring into this feeling of overwhelm, I will write that down. Something that I've always found really helpful is writing my thoughts down on paper, because then it's almost like I can get it out of my head. And most of the time, to be quite honest with you guys, I found that when I write all of these things down that are making me feel overwhelmed, I realized that there really isn't much to be overwhelmed about. I just kind of worked it up in my head. So once you start getting these stressors down on paper, you realize, oh, I really don't have that much to be stressed about. That's actually a task that will only take me 10 minutes. I can combine these errands together and just make it all make sense. Oh, I can, make this phone call while I'm driving to the grocery store instead of it being like a separate activity altogether. So you kind of start to realize that, okay, all of these things are actually going to work out and I don't need to freak out. Once you have all of these things down on paper, essentially you've done a brain dump of everything that is making you feel overwhelmed. I encourage you to take a step back. So first you've slowed down, now you're going to step back from whatever is making you feel overwhelmed. My best piece of advice is to go work out or even just go for a walk. Move your body in some way, shape, or form. I saw a TikTok the other day and I was like, okay, this is such a good piece of advice. But the girl was filming herself working out and she said, like, this is more for relationships, but she said that her husband and her have a rule that before they like argue about anything, I don't know like the physics of this, but like before they argue about anything, they have to go both work out for 20 minutes or something like that. So she said that it's not a punishment. It's actually just so both of them can get clarity on the situation and then they can come back and have a realistic conversation about whatever they were starting to get worked up about. That's just really good advice for anything in life. So you've written down all the things that you have to do on paper and now just take a step back from those things because they're not all going to get done right now anyway. So if you have the time, if you have the flexibility, go for a walk. Take like 20 minutes, just go for a walk. Go for a run. You could put on some music and do like a little yoga flow in your living room. You could even meditate. Just put on some like peaceful meditation music on Spotify or go on Headspace or Calm or Insight Timer or look up 20-minute meditation on YouTube. Just do something that will help you step back from the situation and kind of find some sort of clarity so you can come back re-energized and ready to make a plan. Because step number 3 is to seize the day. So I made these all start with S's because I wanted to be corny like that. Now that you've made your to-do list, you know what lies ahead, you've cleared your mind through some sort of movement, you're ready to go get after it. Maybe you take those to-do list items and you create a schedule for the day or a schedule for the week. Or maybe you sit down with your Google Calendar and you plug in different dates and times that you can get things done. Or maybe it's as simple as like flipping through a cookbook and figuring out what you're going to make for the week and then going to the grocery store. I'm going to leave you guys with a quote today, and that quote comes from Pinterest, so obviously there's no one to attribute it to, but the quote says, "The world puts enough pressure on you. You do not have to choose to add more to yourself." So whatever's on your to-do list, whatever you have going on at work, in your friendships, in your relationships, in your home, in whatever else you have going on, no matter how much pressure those outside factors are putting on you, you have the opportunity to not add additional pressure. If you try this method, let me know how it works. If you have any other methods that you use when you start to feel overwhelmed, let me know in the 80/20 group chat. I would love to hear from you. If you guys liked this episode, be sure to share it with a friend who would also enjoy it. Drop a 5-star rate and review, and that just helps more people find and listen to the show. I love you guys lots. Have a great rest of your week, and I will chat with you on Thursday.